150 million years ago, the world was ruled by dinosaurs. Some were small, no larger than a bird you might find in your garden, but others were gigantic. Called sauropods, these giants roamed open floodplains, leaving behind huge crater-like footprints, while three-toed predators called theropods followed, leaving their own footprints. Most of these footprints would have been washed away, but in some parts of the world they were preserved. One such area is Asturias, the Jurassic coast of Spain, and while the giant dinosaurs may be long extinct, this area is still home to a variety of wildlife. Our story starts with those descendants of the smallest dinosaurs, the birds. And as with most birds, life begins in a nest. These are robin chicks. While thought of as Britain's national bird, the Eurasian robin is found throughout Europe as well as parts of North Africa and even as far east as China. A close cousin of the robin, the black redstart is a rare bird in Britain, but much more widespread in Iberia, particularly in mountainous rocky areas. This is a fledgling, not long out of the nest and still finding its wings, but when it is fully grown it will be an agile aerial predator capable of catching insects in mid-air. The largest birds in these mountains are the griffon vultures, with a wingspan that can be as much as 2.8 meters. They are scavengers, feeding predominantly on the carcasses of large animals such as deer. These and other birds of prey can be seen using the thermals around the mountains to soar in search of food. While the dinosaurs were making their footprints in the late Jurassic, a new group of animals was beginning to emerge, animals which have survived to this day. They were the salamanders. The fire salamander is one of the more common species of salamander in Europe, but is no less impressive, with its incredibly vivid colour scheme. It thrives in these deciduous environments, and the wet weather encourages activity in this terrestrial species. The wet climate also encourages activity in an even more ancient group of animals, the gastropod mollusks. This is a European black slug. It uses mucus to move and to deter predators, and the hole on the right side is a breathing hole called a pneumostome. Other species much prefer a dry and warm climate, such as the common wall lizard. Found throughout south-central Europe, this species prefers rocky environments, which has enabled it to colonize the walls and rubble of many urban areas. It feeds predominantly on small invertebrates, such as flies and ants. This is an oak agar caterpillar. It feeds on broom, bramble, bilberry, and heather, which are all rather abundant plants in these mountains. When it has eaten enough, it will form a cocoon in the shape of an acorn, hence the name. Thousands of years ago, after the end of the last ice age, this area was inhabited by many large mammals. The largest of these was the aurochs, a cattle species which could weigh 1.5 tons. Overhunting drove this species to extinction, but its descendants live on in the form of cows. Asturias has two endemic cattle breeds, the valley cattle, which are kept in the lowlands and predominantly bred for dairy products, and the mountain cattle, found in reserves such as Covadonga, which are primarily used for meat. It is in these cattle that glimpses of the ancient aurochs can be seen in the colour and pattern of their coats. However, the landscape has changed a lot since the mountain cattle's ancestors once lived here. Farming led to the destruction of forests, and mining for metals such as manganese caused the soil to be polluted with mercury. This still reduces the lifespan of the cattle that graze here compared to their lowland cousins. However, with the creation of the Picos National Park in 1918, these activities have subsided. This national park is the oldest in Spain and covers areas in the Asturias, Cantabria, and Castile and Leon communities. Since its creation, beech woodlands have been re-established, as well as areas of heathland. The approach in this national park tends to be to leave the environment to its own devices, which is beneficial for species that thrive in the returning environments, but less so for a species of bird called the capercaillie, which relies on young bilberry plants for food and shelter. If conservation of this species is to continue, perhaps it would be wise to manage these habitats more heavily, provided it doesn't negatively affect the currently thriving species too much. Asturias and the Picos Mountains are homes to a diverse array of plant and animal species, as well as a rich paleontological and anthropological history. Hopefully, continued conservation work will allow future generations to enjoy this landscape for many years to come.